Hey folks, Cornell with YouTube Fishing Vids. Well, fall is absolutely here. Take a look at the leaves behind me. It's mid to late November in the mid-Atlantic. I'm on my local lake. Water temperature mid-60s. I got about 66-degree water temperature, and it's one of my favorite times of the month. I got the Mystery Tackle Box Pro loaded with fall baits, and here we go. We're gonna do this quick. I've got 3 hours. I got 3 hours to fish out here. So I'm going to run through these super quick if I can get my throat cleared. All right, we've got a suspending vibration by Ima Baits, a suspending lipless crank. How cool is that? So that's a lipless crank that's in a natural pattern. We've got cloud cover today. We've got breaking clouds. It's going to be breaking up. We had a pretty big storm last night, so we had some rain come through. The air temperatures are great. I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt. It's about 65 degrees going up to about 72. So those are the conditions that we're going to be working the Ima suspending lipless crank. All right, next out of the box, we've got the LC RTO 2.5 silent, a killer 2.5 size silent crankbait by Lucky Craft. Great natural pattern, a crazy green cross. We're gonna be throwing a lipless, we're gonna be throwing a square bill today. That's gonna be a great fall bait to throw. So next out of the box, this is a real subtle, real sweet, really small little big bite baits, the Cane Thumper 3.5-inch pearl colored swim bait. So that's a swim bait coming out of the Mystery Tackle Box this month. And the next soft plastic coming out is Ketchco's famous razor worm. So we got the razor worm by Ketchco. That's gonna be another excellent bait to throw in my body of water with this really finicky lake of mine. And to go with that, we've got two things: terminal tackle, Katana. We've got Katana hooks for Nico hooks, number 2 size Katana. So with that and that razor worm, and what Carl came up with in Carl's stash is lead nail weights. So we got some lead nail weights, we got Katana Nico hooks, and we've got that razor worm. So I'm gonna set up a Nico rig with that Ketchco razor worm. That's how this is all going down. So we're gonna be getting that moving, and with that Cane Thumper, another set of terminal tackle coming out by Ketchco is the Flashbang. So we've got a Flashbang. That is a underspin swim bait hook. So we've got a swim bait, weedless swim bait hook with a flasher. So we've got that little underspin going on, and that's about 1/8 of an ounce, and I believe that's tungsten. So that's a really dainty, really small, itty bitty little weight on the belly of that hook that's gonna let me slide that through some of these dying off weeds. So that's gonna be one of the excellent options in the box this month. And last out of the box is a killer, also a tiny pack of craw. A tiny pack of craw is going Texas rig, and I've got all sorts of cover, and these fish are probably gonna be up shallow. So that net bait, tiny pack of craw out of the Mystery Tackle Box this month is the last soft plastic out of the box. Absolute killer fall Mystery Tackle Box. Again, mid-late October, it's time to kill it. So I've got 3 hours, let's get going. Okay folks, well I'm out here on a main lake point. I've got the Ima suspending lipless crank. I've got wind blowing. It's absolutely perfect out here for covering some water. So I'm gonna cover some water first, starting out with the Ima, then I'm gonna be working into that Lucky Craft square bill, working up a little bit shallow. So with this wind and with this shallow grass on this point, I'm gonna be taking over the tops of it and hopefully getting a good reaction bite. Throwing it on a 7-foot, medium heavy, moderate action St. Croix Avid crankbait rod with 12-pound test fluorocarbon. It's absolutely perfect. Just a nice medium speed reel. I'll be able to speed it up, speed it down, and hopefully get a good bite out of this new Ima out of the Mystery Tackle Box. So stay tuned, let's get casting. Perfect stop and go, right on the point and right over the grass. Guys, I've only been throwing this Ima for like 4 casts, and I've been burning it across this point, and I'm right over the grass, and I'm telling you what, these guys, this bass tore it up. I mean, it just crushed it. So that's the first bait out of the box, and I knew on these points with this grass, check out that grass, and just ticking over it, this Ima just did the job that quick. Seriously, this is a really neat concept. To have a lipless crank that actually suspends is pretty cool. So I was burning it, stopping it, burning it, stopping it, and he couldn't take it. He just whacked it. So let me get off the point. I'm blowing into it. So basically I'm letting the wind just drift me, and I was just casting way out here into the main lake over the grass, and he just smacked it. So that's number 1 bait out of the box. That is too cool. So let's keep going. I'm gonna actually throw this a little bit more. I've got, gosh, with just one few casts out of it, I might as well just throw it a couple more times, see what happens. I'm gonna move into that other square bill. So let me get my pliers out. Oh, I got it. There you go. Isn't that great? All right, first fish, Mystery Tackle Box this month. Great. All right, guys, let me give you an idea why it's just such an absolutely awesome bait for the conditions right now. I've got good ripples on the water from the wind. I've got the sun that just broke out, so I've got a lustrous kind of chrome blue blueback bait that's just flickering and flashing under the water. With that ripple in the water, it's disturbing the look of the bait. It's not really helping them get a good look at it. So what I'm doing is by burning it and making it fly through the water column super fast, just a quick burn and a stop, quick burn and a stop. They're getting barely look at it, but they're reacting to it. I'm ticking over some grass and they'll just smack it. So it's just a perfect scenario. I'm throwing out into about 12 feet of water and I'm ticking it over grass, yanking it free if I can, and then bringing it back to me and hopefully getting a bite on the way. So just a perfect bait to put in the front of these fish that are over this grass bed. Oh, that is so awesome. I had to keep throwing it, guys. I'm burning it. I am telling you, I am burning this lipless crank over this point. And they are munching today. This is another nice chunky fish. How about that? Really good fish. Check it out. Good for you, Ima. Thanks for bringing out such an awesome bait. A lipless crankbait that suspends. How awesome is that? And great hooks, guys. This bait has some mean hooks on it. So nothing changed, straight out of the box, and check that out. Look how great he got those hooks right in the top of the mouth on the front hook. That means they're really eating. So yeah, I'm gonna have to throw this a couple more times. I have a feeling that square bill is gonna do pretty well on this point also, but this color, specifically this color, is just absolutely awesome with this sun. So that flash is really getting them going. Oh man, they're actually breaking out here. I got fish on my local lake actually coming up top of this sun mid-morning. It's probably about 11 o'clock. And these fish are busy. It's just that perfect time of year when the water temperatures gets into the mid to upper 60s. Moving baits, guys. It's a rare day for me out here, and with this wind, it's perfect. Okay, folks, I've had fun with that Ima. You can see it's been rare running through some grass. So it's time to go out on this point. I'm gonna change up. I was thinking about doing that square bill over this point, but with all this grass and knowing that a square bill is probably gonna be better up on the banks, banging it in some wood and some cover, I'm gonna get out that Big Bite Baits cane thumper with that killer underspin belly weighted swim bait hook, weedless swim bait hook by Ketchco. So I'm going to break that out. I'm going to get that rigged up real quick, so stay tuned. I'm going to throw that little flasher right over the same grass where I caught those two fish. All right, there they are. So I got the Big Bite Baits. I got the 3.5-inch cane thumper in the pearl color, which is just absolutely perfect. I'm going to go ahead and get that. I've already got that swim bait hook tied on. It's already set up on my 7'1" St. Croix medium fast action spinning rod. It's a spinning rod with this little 1/8 ounce belly weighted swim bait hook. That's going to be the ticket, and it's got 12-pound test braid on it with a 10-pound test fluorocarbon leader. So just a little more stealthy with that leader. Really good casting distance with this little itty bitty swim bait with the braid, and that longer rod's going to help me again get a longer cast and get it going. So there it is. That's a beautiful swim bait belly weighted hook with the underspin, and it's an easy rig job, folks. Here we go. Let me go ahead and get that little screw lock going, and the very tip of that Big Bite Baits cane thumper. As straight as you can get these in the nose is crucial. So I'm going right down the dead middle of that nose, and I'm gonna let it swing free. I'm not gonna screw it all the way up to the end where they can't actually swing free with that hook. I'm sorry, with the eye of that hook. And I'm gonna go right in the belly. So one more turn should do it. It's swinging free. And I'm also going perpendicular. When I've got that little area that's holding on to the eye of that hook, that's going to be perpendicular. So this is going to swing right up into the belly of this bait. So let's go ahead and get that going. One more turn. Actually, turn it back. So we're going in right in the belly and coming straight out the back. So if you got a perfectly straight belly weighted deal, I'm going to just barely skin hook it. And there, well, let's try to get that again. There you go. All right, good. All right, folks, so there it is. That's the perfectly rigged little cane thumper by Big Bite Baits. I've got that on, like I said, that 7'1", so it's gonna launch it. I'm telling you, this thing's gonna fly. So I'm out on this point. I could throw this up a little more shallow than I was with that lipless crank, but check out how far that thing casts. And now it's just a creeper, just creeping it over the grass, real slow, really subtle, and hopefully we'll get one to come up out of those dying weed holes and pop it. So stay tuned. Let's see what this cane thumper could do. All right, so I made my way off the main lake points. I haven't picked up anything on this cane thumper yet. Haven't been fishing it long though. So I'm working my way down this weedy shoreline and let the wind take me. It's wind's at my back and it's just cruising me along the shoreline. I'm just paralleling the edges, coming up over weeds and holes in the weeds, hoping for that bass to just pop up and grab it. So let's see if we can keep this going and find a fish. Okay folks, so I got myself out of the wind. That wind was really hustling. It didn't help me pick up any more bass with this little cane thumper. So I came over to this little more calm area so I can work some of the other baits out of this mystery tackle box. I'm gonna still throw this cane thumper a few more times along the shoreline, but back in this cove I've got some standing timber, some laydowns, I've got some wood to throw that that Lucky Craft square bill. So not to mention that, but I wanna throw that Texas rig, little baby Paca craw, and also throw the Nico rig. So let's go ahead and just throw this cane thumper a few more times over some of this grass on the shoreline, see if we can pick one up. If not, we're going to move on to some other baits. All right folks, I've got the perfect scenario over here on the shoreline for a little square bill action. I've got some wood, I've got some rocks, I've got some shallow water. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up that Lucky Craft square bill. We're gonna get that going. I've got that all set up with 12-pound test fluorocarbon. I've got it set up on a new rod of mine. I got a new Lose, a custom speed stick. It's actually set up and designed specifically for square bills and shallow running crankbaits. So that's a 6'9" medium, heavy action, moderate fast. So a little bit shorter rod, really good for a shorter, more accurate casts up on the shoreline, throwing into cover and such. So let's get at it. Let's get right up on some of these trees and some of these rocks and see what this Lucky Craft can do. And these square bills aren't just for you know, banging off a hard cover. These are great to tear through grass. So if I come up on any little grass flats and any little grass edges, you know, getting it right on top of those little grass edges, I'm going to just rip it through and tear it through and hopefully get a reaction bite. I'm telling you what folks, with a Pelican this light and me like a sail, this wind is really hustling out there, trying to control this boat and beat the shorelines. It's one of those days where you love the wind, it works for you, but it's a little bit of a challenge when it comes to covering water like I'm doing. So got a little wind noise, I'm sure, in this microphone. I'm trying to get over here against this bank where it's not so windy so I can talk to y'all, because I'm running out of time. It might be a challenge in the wind to even come close to playing with a Nico rig. So what I've done, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you how I set this up. I've got a 7-foot medium action spinning rod with 12-pound test braid with an 8-pound test fluorocarbon leader. And all I've done is I've tied that little katana hook that came out of the mystery tackle box onto the end of the fluorocarbon leader, and here comes that really awesome Ketchco cut-tail worm, that little razor worm. So what we're gonna do is I put that little O-ring on there. That's like the Wacko tool O-ring. So that's gonna basically hold my katana hook. So what we wanna do is I'm gonna do nothing more than come in on the back side and come straight out over that tool, and now I've got a Nico rig pretty much set up, with the exception of the fact that I'm going to get Carl's stash and I'm going to add a little weight to the nose. So nothing more than adding a little weight to the nose of this Ketchco razor worm. I'm going to break that little nail weight out, try not to drop all the other ones, and here it goes. There's the setup right there. There's your Nico rig. All we got to do is insert the weight right into the tip of that nose, straight up the center, and that's going to make it go nose down, tail up. And anytime I find some cover or some grass, if I can control this bait out of this wind, this is a killer right here, guys. This Nico rig absolutely kills it. So there's the Nico rig, and that's the razor worm by Ketchco. So if I don't get a chance to fish this or even have a chance to catch a fish on it, that's what it's all about. And that's the kind of rig that you want to throw when they got a little more calm wind, you got a finessey pressured body of water and some finicky bass. That's an excellent finesse technique. So there you go, Nico rig all set up. Let's see if we can fish it. I've got about an hour left to fish, and I still have that net bait Paca craw to tie on and basically hook up with a Texas rig, so stay tuned. And with little time, why not? Let's just go ahead and rig it up. Let's just get that Texas rig ready to go, so if I come up on some cover, whether it be the Nico rig, the Texas rig, or any of the baits that I got out of the mystery tackle box, I'm just gonna run and gun. I'm just gonna see what I can do with the situation that I'm in, whether it's wind or a calm spot like I'm in now. Let's just go for it. There it is, itty bitty little Paca craw, tiny little crawfish imitator, and it's so easy. It's just a Texas rig I'm gonna have all set up. If I can get my rods out of here, let's get this 7'2" medium heavy action rod that's already rigged up with a Texas rig. I've got myself a 1/4 ounce tungsten weight pegged, and with that I've got myself a Megabyte. That's a Megabyte mustad. It's a 1/0. So with that little itty bitty bait, it's a finessey little Texas rig that's perfect for the grass, perfect for the cover, and I'm going to go ahead and Texas rig it. So it's really easy deal. We're going to go right in the backside to the bend. I'm going to come straight out, and this hook is perfect. It's got that perfect little bend to hold it in place, and this is just the right size, so it's pretty much going to come right between the eyes. And there you go. Perfect little Texpose mega weedless, perfect Texas rig, ready to go. So now I'm hooked up with every bait out of the mystery tackle box for this month, and now I'm just gonna run and gun. I'm gonna see what I can do with this last hour of fishing, hit some wood, hit some banks, and go fishing. Okay folks, I'm heading back towards the ramp with 1 hour left to fish. Everything is now rigged up. I am rocking and rolling out here. I've got little mini rollers and this little Pelican is having a blast. So it's tough fishing. It's hard to fish when it's like this, and I got this little Pelican, but I did great. I went ahead and got all hooked up with pretty much everything I have to fish with, but let's do a fun rundown. Just one more time. There's the killer, the IMA suspending lipless crank. I got that all hooked up. We went ahead and hooked up. Next, we had the cane thumper. The killer cane thumper was all set up on the spinning rod. That was another killer bait out of the mystery tackle box. Then we tried some square bill fishing. The square bill came out. We tried to do some damage on that. So that's another killer bait. And I got to tell you, I wish I had the opportunity to fish it, but with this wind, it's going to be nearly impossible trying to throw the Nico rig. There's no way I could throw a Nico rig out in this stuff. It's just nuts out here. My tripod's banging around, everything's shaking. And the last rig up was that Texas rig. Awesome little packer crawl. How could I not catch a fish on this if I just had the opportunity to throw it in some wood? So I'm gonna go fishing a little bit more, see if I can set this boat up out of the wind and catch something in the last hour. So killer box this month. I'm gonna be using those baits quite a bit, I know that, but I'm gonna go right here, this little grass bed, and I'm gonna throw that cane thumper one more time and see if there's a fish waiting for me. Just to give you an idea what kind of conditions I'm dealing with. It's hard to tell, but I'm going to let you look at this. Look at these rollers. This is how I have my tripod set up for my GoPro. I've got a 12-pound river anchor that dangles from the center of my tripod. It helps to basically center the weight of the tripod. But with this wind, unfortunately, I've got it right at my back right now. It is virtually knocking this tripod out of the water. I got to keep grabbing it and keeping it from tipping over. Very rare day to have this kind of rough water. So it's a really tough day to fish. I'm glad I could do at least an unboxing. It's not quite over yet. I'm going to get into this little pocket over here with a little more combat. Look at that anchor swing. Whoa, that's what I'm dealing with. So I'm almost losing my whole setup here. And when I go when I'm crossing the lake here, that's what's going on. So I got to be real careful not to lose you guys. So just stay tuned. Let's see if we can get something going before it's all over. It's a really good thing for you folks to know that if you're in a Pelican or any of these little mini pontoon style bass boats or kayaks and you just get caught in a bunch of wind, use the wind to your advantage. You know, get upstream with your trolling motor, paddle upstream, put the wind at your back and work your shoreline. Let the wind basically take you, control it as you need be to keep you on the cover and keep you on the shoreline you want to fish, but basically use that wind to your advantage as much as you can, and hopefully you'll pick up some bass along the way. Okay folks, I'm gonna have to apologize for the wind. This wind has been hustling. It's been rocking and rolling me. I've made my way back to the boat ramp and pretty darn quick because the wind's been at my back the whole time. So big shout out to Mystery Tackle Box. Killer box. Absolutely awesome setup. That IMA suspending lipless crank was the winner today. Caught me a couple fish early. All those baits were fantastic. Folks, so if you want to check out a Mystery Tackle Box of your own, go to mysterytacklebox.com. Treat yourself to a Mystery Tackle Box and use my code YTFV. It's short for YouTube Fishing Vids. Get $10 off your first month of your new subscription. So folks, as always, appreciate you joining me. As always, I appreciate you subscribing. And until we meet again, over and out.